Something happened last night. Something you don't know about yet. But you need to. While you were sleeping, while your mind was finally still, a conversation was taking place. A decision was being made. Not about your future. Not about your job. Not about your destiny. Something far more personal. The family of the person your heart longs for, they were talking. They were discussing something important. And what they decided, well, it's the very thing you've been afraid to ask. But that's not all. Another layer exists beneath this. A truth you wouldn't expect. Something they saw in you long before you even realized you were being watched. Perhaps you felt it. That strange weight in the air yesterday. That feeling that you were being measured, considered. You were. Every glance, every word you've ever said around them, it was being collected. They were building a picture of you. And last night, the final piece of that picture was added. What did they decide? That's the question, isn't it? But stay with me for a moment, because the real answer isn't as simple as yes or no. Something much deeper is at play here. They noticed something about you that you don't even notice about yourself. Have you noticed how you soften when their name is mentioned? How your voice changes just a little? They saw that. They discussed it. But the biggest truth is still hidden. The part that changes everything. You see, their decision last night wasn't really about you. Wait. Don't leave. The next part is the part you need to sit down for. Their decision last night was about them. About the kind of family they want to be. About the kind of love they want to welcome into their world. This is where it gets personal. This is where the story becomes yours. They ask themselves a question. A single, powerful question. And the answer to that question is the key to all of it. What did they decide? Hold that thought. Because before I tell you, you need to know the one thing they whispered at the end of the conversation. The thing that happened after the decision was made. It happened at 2:47 a.m. And the person you love, they heard it. They heard everything. One more layer. The final truth is still waiting. Stay until the end. Because what they decided, it's exactly what you've been hoping for. But the way it comes to you. Oh, that's the real story. And you're not ready for that part yet. But you're about to be. You're still here. That means something. It means a part of you already knows. A part of you has been waiting for this confirmation your whole life. Let me take you back to that room. That quiet space where the decision was made. The family gathered. Not in anger. Not in judgment. But in careful, sacred consideration. They spoke about you in hushed tones. Not because they were ashamed, but because they understood the weight of what they were doing. They were shaping something. Deciding whether to open a door. And the person you love, they were listening. From the hallway. From the other room. From that place in their heart where all their deepest feelings about you live. They heard every word. Here is what was said. First, they talked about your eyes. Not your appearance. Something deeper. They noticed how your eyes light up when you speak about things you care about. How you look at the world with a certain wonder. How you look at them. They said, this one sees us. Truly sees us. That was the first thing. Then, another voice. An older voice. Wiser. And that voice said something that made the room fall silent. They said, do you remember how they treated the waiter last month? You probably don't even remember that moment. But they do. They saw you. When no one else was looking, they saw your character. They saw your patience. Your kindness. Your quiet strength. And that's when the conversation shifted. They began to ask themselves a different question. Not, is this person good enough for our family? But something far more important. They asked, are we good enough for them? That was the moment everything changed. One more layer. Because the decision they made last night wasn't just about accepting you. It was about preparing for you. But that's not all. Something else happened after that question was asked. Something unexpected. The youngest person in the room spoke up. And what they said, it revealed a truth even the family themselves hadn't realized. They said, I think they've been waiting for us to welcome them. And the room went quiet again. Because it was true. Perhaps you have felt it. That invisible wall. That gentle hesitation. You've been standing at the doorway, waiting for permission to step inside. And they know. They've always known. But the decision they made last night. It changes the doorway. It turns it into an invitation. Stay with me. Because the part you haven't heard yet, the part that matters most, is what they decided to do next. They didn't just say yes. They created a plan. A quiet, secret plan designed just for you. They want you to feel something the next time you're with them. Something you haven't felt before. They want you to feel chosen. But here's where the story turns. The person you love. They have a secret too. They've been carrying something. A truth they haven't shared with anyone. And last night, after the family made their decision, that secret was almost revealed. Almost. Another piece is still missing. And that missing piece, it involves you. One final truth before you go. The decision made about you last night was not the end of the story. It was the beginning. The family is ready. The door is opening. But what you do next? That will determine everything. Don't skip what comes next. Because in part 3, you'll discover exactly why they chose you. And you'll finally understand the one thing the person you love has been too afraid to tell you. They're waiting for you to make the next move. So, what will you do now? You're still leaning in. Good. Because what comes next, it's the part that will make your heart beat faster. Let me take you deeper into that room. Into the moments after the decision was made. The family sat in silence for a long time. Not awkward silence. Sacred silence. The kind that happens when something important has just shifted in the universe. And then, the oldest person in the room spoke. They said something that no one expected. They said, this one, they have a wound. And the room grew heavy. Because they weren't speaking about a physical wound. They were speaking about something deeper. Something you carry with you every single day. A hurt from long ago. A moment when someone you trusted turned away. A time when you felt invisible. They saw it. They've always seen it. And here is what they decided about that wound. They decided it would never be used against you. Wait. Let that sink in. They saw your broken places. They saw your fears. They saw the parts of you that you hide from everyone. And they chose to protect them. That is the kind of decision they made about you last night. But that's not all. Something even more beautiful happened next. One of them began to cry. Not sad tears. Something else. Tears of recognition. They said, I see myself in them. I see the person I used to be. And in that moment, the family realized something powerful. Welcoming you wasn't just about adding someone new. It was about healing something old. In themselves. In their history. In their own wounded places. Do you understand what this means? You are not just someone they accept. You are someone they need. One more layer. Because the person you love, they've been watching this entire time. And the look on their face, oh, that look. It was a look of relief. A look of hope. A look that said, finally. Finally they see what I've always seen. But here's where the story takes another turn. Something happened at 3:12 a.m. After the family said goodnight. After the house went quiet. A single phone call was made. And that call, it was about you. Stay with me. The person on the other end of that call was someone you've never met. Someone who doesn't even live in this country. And what they said, it changes everything. They said, I dreamed about this person last night. They dreamed about you. And in that dream, they saw something the family didn't see. A future. A road stretching forward. A home being built. And at the center of that home, you. Another piece. The family decided to welcome you. But the dreamer decided something else entirely. They decided you were destined. Not just for this family. For something bigger. One final truth. The decision made about you last night was not just about today. It was about a lifetime. And the person you love, they know this. They knew it the moment they first saw you. The missing piece? The person you love has already started planning. They've already begun imagining a life with you. They've already pictured your hand in theirs at gatherings. Your laughter in their home. Your presence in their future. They decided about you long before last night. Last night was just the family catching up. So here is the question that remains. The one that only you can answer. Now that you know what they decided. Now that you know they saw your wound and chose to protect it. Now that you know the person you love is already dreaming of a life with you. What will you let yourself believe? Because the biggest truth is still hidden. And it's waiting for you. You're still here. That means something deep inside you is stirring. Something that has been asleep for a very long time is beginning to wake up. Let me take you to the morning after. The sun rose over that house. The same house where the decision was made. And something felt different. The air felt lighter. The light felt warmer. The birds sang a little louder. Because the family woke up knowing something had shifted. Something permanent. Something beautiful. They made coffee. They sat around the table. And they looked at each other differently. Because they knew. They knew you were coming. They knew you belonged. But then, something unexpected happened. The doorbell rang. And the person standing at that door, it wasn't you. It was someone from your past. Someone who once hurt you deeply. Someone who knew you before you became who you are today. And the family, they didn't know what to do. Because this person from your past had a message. A warning. A story about you that was not true. But they spoke it anyway. They spoke it with confidence. With conviction. With a smile that hid something dark. And the family listened. They listened to every word. Do you feel it? That tightening in your chest. Because this is where the story almost broke. This is where everything could have fallen apart. But it didn't. Stay with me. Because what happened next? It will show you exactly who this family really is. They looked at this person from your past. They looked at them carefully. Quietly. And then the oldest one spoke again. They said, "We know who we chose." And it wasn't you. That was it. That was the moment everything changed. The person from your past left. Defeated. Exposed. And the family turned to each other and said something that would make your heart soar. They said, "We will protect them. From anyone. From anything. From any lie." They made a choice. Not just to accept you. But to defend you. Even when you weren't there to defend yourself. One more layer. Because the person you love, they watched this whole thing happen. And something inside them broke open. They realized something in that moment. They realized that their family wasn't just saying yes to you. They were saying yes to everything you represent. Hope. Healing. Second chances. But that's not all. Because late that night, after the house was quiet again, the person you love sat down and wrote something. A letter. A letter to you. They haven't sent it yet. They're waiting for the right moment. But in that letter, they wrote the words you've been longing to hear your entire life. Words like, "You are safe with us. You are wanted. You are home." And then, at the very bottom of the letter, they wrote something that made them cry. They wrote, "I have been waiting for you my whole life. Stay with me. Because the biggest revelation is still ahead." The family made a decision about you last night. They defended you today. They wrote you into their story. But now there is a question. A question only you can answer. When the letter finally arrives. When the door finally opens. When the invitation finally comes. Will you believe it? Will you accept it? Will you walk through? Because here is the truth they didn't tell you yet. The one that will change everything. The family's decision was not the final chapter. It was the preface. The story is just beginning. And you. You are the one who gets to write the next page. The one final truth is still waiting. It's watching. It's hoping. It's ready for you. You've traveled far with me now. Through the quiet room. Through the whispered words. Through the morning light and the unexpected visitor. But what I'm about to tell you, this is the part that will make you catch your breath. Because the story isn't over. It never was. Let me take you to the day after that. The day after the letter was written. The day after the family proved their loyalty. Something shifted in the house. Not in the walls. Not in the furniture. Something shifted in the hearts of the people living there. They began to prepare. Not for a visitor. For a new beginning. They cleaned the guest room. They made space in the closet. They hung a picture on the wall, a picture of a place you once mentioned you loved. They remembered. Every detail. Every word you've ever spoken about your dreams. They collected them like treasures. And they built a home for them. One more layer. Because the person you love, they watched their family do all of this. And their heart grew so full it almost hurt. They realized something. Their family wasn't just welcoming you. They were becoming more themselves because of you. You were healing them. Without even trying. Without even knowing. That is the power you carry. The power they saw last night. The power they decided to protect. But that's not all. Something else happened. Something mysterious. The phone rang again. And this time, it was someone who knew you in a different way. Someone from your childhood. Someone who remembers you before the world tried to break you. And they said something that made the room fall silent. They said, "I always knew this person was special. I always knew they would find their way to a family like yours." And the family wept. Because they realized they weren't just choosing you. They were being chosen by you. Do you understand what that means? You are not lucky to have them. They are lucky to have you. That is the truth they discovered. That is the truth the person you love has been trying to tell you. Stay with me. Because the question that remains, it's a deep one. Why have you been waiting? Why have you been hesitating? Why have you been holding back the very love that wants to pour into you? Perhaps it's because you've been hurt before. Perhaps it's because you've been rejected before. Perhaps it's because you've been told you don't deserve this. Let me tell you what they decided about that. They decided that your past does not define you. They decided that your wounds do not disqualify you. They decided that your fear does not frighten them. They decided to love you anyway. All of you. Even the parts you hide. Especially those parts. And that decision, it was final. No take-backs. No second-guessing. No changing their minds. You are in. You are safe. You are wanted. One final truth before you go. The letter I mentioned earlier. The one the person you love wrote to you. It's sitting in a drawer right now. Waiting. But they told me something about it. Something that changes everything. They told me they're going to deliver it in person. And when they do. When they stand in front of you. When they look into your eyes. They're going to say the words out loud. And those words, they will change your life forever. The biggest truth is still hidden. It's waiting for you. It's breathing the same air as you. It's closer than you think. One more piece. The decision made about you last night. It was the beginning of something eternal. And now. Now it's your turn. What will you decide? You've come this far. Through the night. Through the morning. Through the letter. Through the truth. But there's something I haven't told you yet. Something that happened before any of this began. Something that changes everything you think you know. Let me take you back further. Further than last night. Further than the conversation. Further than the family even knew each other. There was a moment. Years ago. A moment when the person you love was sitting alone. Feeling lost. Feeling invisible. Feeling like they would never find someone who truly saw them. And in that moment, they prayed. Not to anyone in particular. Just to the universe. To something bigger. To someone who might be listening. They prayed for you. Before they even knew your name. Before they even knew your face. They prayed for someone who would understand them. Someone who would see past their walls. Someone who would hold their heart with care. And the universe heard. It took time. Years, even. But the universe heard. And then, it sent you. One more layer. Because the family doesn't know about this prayer. They don't know that their child was waiting for you long before you ever walked into the room. But the person you love, they know. They've always known. And last night, when the family made their decision, something clicked inside them. They realized that their prayer was finally being answered. Not just by you. But by their family. By the people who raised them. By the people who taught them how to love. Everything was coming together. Everything was aligning. Stay with me. Because there's something else. Something the person you love has never told anyone. Not their family. Not their friends. Not even their closest confidant. They keep it locked in a small box under their bed. A box filled with memories. Photographs. Letters. And at the very bottom of that box. There's a piece of paper with your name written on it. They wrote it the night they met you. Before they even knew they loved you. They wrote it because something inside them whispered. This one matters. And that whisper, it never stopped. One more piece. The family decided about you last night. But the person you love decided about you the moment you said hello. That is the truth that changes everything. That is the truth that makes all of this real. And now, there's only one thing left to tell you. The biggest truth of all. The one that has been waiting for you since before you were born. You were always meant to find them. You were always meant to be loved by them. You were always meant to belong. Every heartbreak. Every disappointment. Every closed door. It was all leading you here. To this moment. To this family. To this love. And now that you know. Now that you've heard the truth. There's only one question left. The same question that the family asked about you last night. The same question that the person you love asked themselves when they first met you. The same question the universe is asking you right now. Are you ready to receive what has been waiting for you? The decision was made about you. But the final piece. The final piece is yours. And it's waiting. In the silence. In the stillness. In the next breath you take. You're still here. Through all the layers. Through all the truths. Through all the quiet revelations. But I need you to understand something. Something that will shift everything you believe about this story. The family's decision last night, it wasn't just about you. It was about them choosing who they want to become. And that choice, it's still unfolding. Let me take you to a moment that hasn't happened yet. A moment that is still waiting in the future. A moment that will arrive sooner than you think. The door will open. The letter will be delivered. The words will be spoken. And in that moment, everything will change. But here is what you don't know yet. When that moment comes, the person you love will not just be standing there with words. They will be standing there with something else. Something they've been carrying for months. Something they've been waiting to give you. It's not a ring. It's not a gift. It's something far more precious. It's an invitation. Not to their family. Not to their home. To their soul. One more layer. Because the family knows about this invitation. They helped plan it. They helped prepare it. They helped make it possible. Last night's decision was just the beginning. The real decision. The one that will change everything. Is still ahead. Stay with me. Because there's something else you need to know. Something the person you love has been hiding. They've been hiding it because they're afraid. Afraid you might say no. Afraid you might not feel the same. Afraid you might walk away. But here is what they don't know. You have already said yes. In your heart. In your soul. In the deepest part of you that has always known they were the one. You said yes the moment you met them. You said yes the moment you felt that spark. You said yes the moment you realized you couldn't imagine your life without them. So why haven't you told them? Why have you been waiting? Perhaps it's because you're afraid too. Afraid of being vulnerable. Afraid of being rejected. Afraid of being hurt again. But here is the truth. The family saw your fear last night. They discussed it. They made a decision about it. And they decided that your fear does not scare them. They decided to love you through it. They decided to wait for you. They decided to be patient. They decided to be gentle. They decided to be everything you've ever needed. One final truth. The biggest truth of all. The one that has been hiding in plain sight since the very beginning. The decision made about you last night. It was never just one decision. It was 1,000 decisions. 1,000 small choices. 1,000 small acts of love. Every glance. Every smile. Every word. Every moment. They have been choosing you for a long time. And now they are ready for you to choose them back. One more piece. The person you love is standing at a doorway right now. Waiting. Hoping. Praying. They don't know if you will walk through. But they are ready to find out. And the family. The family is watching. The family is waiting. The family is ready to welcome you with open arms. So here is the question. The one that has been waiting for you since the beginning. Are you ready to walk through the door? Are you ready to receive what has been waiting for you? Are you ready to let yourself be loved? Because the decision has been made. The invitation has been prepared. The door is open. All that's left is you. And the moment you choose, everything changes.